Hey, what's cracking, everybody? Benji Bruce here with speakinglifestyle.com. And someone actually sent me this email, and the email said this. So he said, how do you strike the difference between content and entertainment? From my experience as an entertainer, I know that most events don't have an entertainment budget, but they do have a budget for speakers, even non-industry soft skills speakers. However, would you agree that what they really want is entertainment, or at least captivation? Do you find planners need to hire speakers so they can bill it to education, but really just want entertainment? Okay, so basically, do these people really want entertainment, or do they really want content? So it's kind of like, how do you strike the balance between the two? Well, first off, I want to say this, right? So in the email, he said this. He said, from my experience as an entertainer, I know that most events don't have an entertainment budget, but they do have a budget for speakers. I want to say this. This is a quote from Mark Twain, right? Mark Twain said, it ain't what you... Damn, I think I wrote all this whole thing. It ain't what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so. And that's just a really good Mark Twain quote, right? He says, it ain't what you know that gets you in trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so. And so when you said they don't have an entertainment budget, like, oh, most events don't have an entertainment budget, that is not true. Not true at all. And because you believe this, it is hard for you to get on stages as an entertainer. Your reality is not the reality. I've seen the exact same thing from speakers where they say, oh, most events don't have a speaker budget. And you're saying that the opposite. You're saying like, oh, most events don't have an entertainment budget, but they got one for speakers. And I've seen speakers say, oh, most events don't have a speaker budget, but they got one for entertainers. You got to think that your reality is not the reality. So don't believe in these thoughts that just aren't true. There are plenty of events with entertainment budgets. There are plenty of events with speaker budgets. Basically, you need to see the flaws inside of your own thinking. And so that's why it comes back to that Mark Twain quote, it ain't what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so. So just make sure you kind of get your mind right from now on. So, all right. So when you said, do they want the content or the speaking? Which one do they want more? Well, basically, yes and no. So do they want entertainment instead of content? Yes, they definitely want entertainment, right? And I don't care what anyone says, they want entertainment, because if you are a boring speaker, you will never get invited back. And you always got to think about, what do they do, not what do they say. Like, what do meeting planners do, not what do they say, or just what does anyone do rather than what they say. Because overall, people want the captivation. When they bring in a speaker, they want the captivation. They want the entertainment factor, because they will not bring back a boring speaker no matter how great his content was. And so this is why you want to focus on what meeting planners do rather than what they say. Because what they will say is, they will say, oh yeah, it's all about the content. We got to make sure that we have the right speakers in there delivering the right content. That's what they will say. But here's what they do. And watch this. I've just watched this from every event from now on, even the events where they say, oh, it's all about content. Watch. They all do this, right? Every single one of them, they basically say this. They're like, yes, we're looking for speakers who are going to fit perfectly with our event. Then they look for the well-known speakers. They don't look at the content. They look at the well-known speakers. They say, okay, here's a celebrity in this space. Here's a very well-known figure in this space. Oh, here's a person who works for this company. Let's bring him in to speak. And they always focus on the well-known people, not the content. They just assume, okay, maybe his content is good because he's well-known. I don't know. But they always look for the well-known people. This is why the bigger the event is, the more well-known people will be, how do I say this? The bigger the event is, the more celebrity speakers there will be at the event. And usually the content isn't nearly as good. What I've found is that the more well-known people are, the more well-known these speakers are, the worse their content actually is, because they can slide by on their name rather than the content. And so when it comes to getting hired at events, you need to think about, how do you sell you? If you are well known, then you focus on, hey, I'm the bomb diggity, everybody knows me, and hey, just mentioning my name is going to improve your event. And that's essentially what you do if you're well known. If you're not well known, you got to think in terms of, how do I sell me if I'm not well known? And this is where you sell the captivation. This is where you sell the entertainment. You got to think along the lines of, how do you sell you if you're not all that known? I can't stress this enough in terms of pay attention to what they do rather than what they say, because meeting planners will always say it's about the content. They will always say it every single time. But if you look at who they actually bring in and who they actually hire for their events, you will notice that in terms of motivational speakers, the motivational speakers are entertaining as hell. When it comes to content type of speakers, the content speakers are more of very well-known people in an industry or very well-known companies in the industry. The content, trust me, it is last, no matter what they tell you. So yeah, that's what it comes down to in terms of the balance between content and entertainment. But really it comes down to you knowing how to sell you. So if I'm freaking Bill Gates, I don't need to be an entertaining speaker on stage, because I'm Bill Gates. I'm like, hey, I'm just going to sit here. I'm just going to do a Q&A. I don't need to be entertaining. I mean, just mentioning my name is going to improve your event. So that's what you want to think along the lines of when it comes to selling you at the event, rather than just thinking, oh, do they want content or do they want entertainment or do they want this? You got to think, where am I at? How do people see me? And how do I sell this? That's how you want to roll. And by the way, if you like these videos, if you want me to make more videos like this one, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share it. If you have any questions, send me an email. If you have any recommendations, send me an email to info@speakinglifestyle.com.